Hello everyone, welcome back to our new playlist of this channel, which name is Power BI with SQL. So guys, in the last tutorial, we have learnt about some constraints and data type. And now in today's tutorial guys, we will create one table with the help of create command and use same constraints and data type to create table. So let's quickly jump to SSMS. And in the left side guys, I can see some features. So I want to expand this databases. So let me click here on this plus button and expand this. And now guys, we can clearly see the list of databases which we have created. So if I expand this database which name is Shubham, so I will click here on this plus button. So again we can see the list of features. So here we guys can see we have one table option. So if you want to see the table which we have in our Shubham database, so you need to click again this plus icon. And we can see whatever the tables we have in our database, we can clearly see it here. Like departments, employee, sales, sales to, students and so on. And if I click here on this cricket database and click on table guys, so I can't see any table here because we have not created any table in the database which name is cricket. And in a similar way guys, you guys can check other databases. Let's say check this student database. So let me expand this and click here on this table. So again guys, here is no table because we have not created any table in cricket and student database. And now let's learn how to create a table structure in any of the database. So firstly guys, you need to click here on this new query. And here under this drop down guys, you guys can see the list of database name like Shubham, student and so on. So let's suppose guys, I want to create a table under this cricket database. So I will select this cricket from here. And now we are here under in cricket database. So for creating any table structure guys, I will use this DDL command, which stands for data definition language. And DDL commands are used to define the structure and layout of the database. And if I talk about the types guys, so here under this DDL command guys, we will use this create command to design the layout of our table. And these are the list of command guys which we are definitely cover under one by one under this playlist. But in today's tutorial guys, we will talk about some of the command between these commands. So firstly I am using create command to design the structure of the table, which is a part of DDL command. So before creating any table guys, we need to use some syntax. So let me show you the syntax. So here is the syntax guys. So firstly we will use this create command. After that we will write the table because we want to create a table. And the same command guys we have used to create a database. But here guys, this time we are creating a table. So that's why I write create table. After that you need to write the table name. And you need to start the bracket. Then we need to write the column name, then data type and then constraint. In a similar way, if you want to add another column, so you need to write the second column name plus data type and constraint. And finally we will close the bracket and will execute the command. And here under this example guys, you guys can see the table where I have taken few columns name like ID, name, age, city, salary with its data type and constraint. And if you guys learn about the constraint and data type in detail, so I would request please go and watch my previous video to understand detailed knowledge about data type and constraint. And now let's go back to the SSMS screen and learn how to create a table structure with practical. So here is the screen guys. And now I will use the same syntax which I have shown you in the screenshot. So firstly I will write my command. So my command is create. And I am creating a table here guys. So simply I will write table. And here we need to write the table name. Let's say organization. And now we need to start the bracket. And here guys, we need to specify the column names along with its data type. So if you talk about the data of any of the organization guys, so it could be employee ID, names, email address, countries, age, profit and so on. So we will create some table here with same column names. So firstly guys, I will take the first column name which is employee ID. So I will write here employee ID. And one thing guys, you should keep in mind, whenever you specify any column name within two different words, Just like I have used here in employee is a first word and ID is a second word. So always use underscore instead of space. You guys can also go with the space. But for the best practice guys, we should always use underscore between two characters. Just like this. So firstly guys, I have entered the column name. And the next step guys, we need to define the data type. It could be text, number, date and so on. So in my case guys, I want to declare this employee ID as a integer data type. So I'll press space here and write int, which stands for integer. And now guys, I need to use one constraint here. So I will use here, let's say primary key. So I want to use employee ID is a primary key constraint in my dataset, which means this ID should not be repeated in our dataset. And in a similar way guys, I will write some other columns name along with data type and constraint. And now put it comma here. Although guys, you can write your query in the same line, but I would suggest whenever you're writing any complex query or any other query, you can jump into the next line to press enter so that it can increase the readability of your query. And now I am pressing this tab button so that I can write my query step by step. And let's say my next column would be name. So firstly I will write my column name here. Let's say name. And now I need to define the data type. So as you know guys, name could not be any integer. So this is my variable character, or you can say the character. So here I am taking, let's say, variable character. So I will use the short form, which is var char. And now I need to define the size. So I'll start this bracket. And let's say my name size would be 60 characters. You guys can take any random characters here, but I am taking 60 and close the bracket. And now guys, finally I will use one constraint here. So I am using one more constraint here, which name is not null, which means your value should not be blank here under this name column. And now put it comma. And now guys, again I will jump into the next line. So I'll simply press enter here in my keyboard. And my next column would be, let's say, email. And again we need to define the data type. So although you can write variable character, or you guys can write simply character. So this time guys, let's say I'm taking character, which is char. And I will define the size, let's say 70 this time, and close this bracket. And again I will use one more constraint, let's say not null. And now I am entering one more column name here, let's say age. And the data type would be integer. And let's say this time I enter one more constraint. So let's say this time I am using check constraint. And under check guys, I will give one condition. So here I am giving one condition guys. With the help of check constraint, the age should not be less than 16. So I will simply write here age should not be less than 16 and close this. Now put it comma. And again I will press enter guys to jump into the next line. And here guys, I am creating one more column, which name should be country. And now I will specify the data type. So data type should be var char, which is variable character. Or you guys can write any number here. So I am taking 50. And now guys, I will simply write the constraint name, which should be again not null. And finally guys, I am adding one more column, which name would be salary. So salary data type would be integer. And it should be again not null as a constraint. And finally we need to close this bracket. So here you guys can see it is getting me an error because I have not put it comma here. So don't forget to put the comma guys after completion your first line with data type and constraint. And now let me select this query and click here on this execute button. And here guys we can see commands completed successfully. So if you guys want to see this organization table guys, so you need to use one more command. So the command name is select, which is a part of this DQL command, which stands for data query language. And this select command is a single command guys, which comes here under this DQL, which is data query language. So for see any table or any column guys, we will use this select command. And now let's learn how to execute this command to see any table or columns. So let's go back to the SSMS screen. And here under this next line guys, you simply need to enter select command. and we simply need to write this star, which means all the records which we have in our table, and we need to write from, that means select star from. And finally guys, we need to write the table name which we want to see. So I will press space and I will write my table name. So here we can see the moment I click on initials, so I can see the table name which is organization, and select this command and execute. So here we can see the columns name which we have created with the help of create table command. So here we have employee ID, names, email, age, country and salary. And in this way guys, you guys can add multiple columns with the help of this create table command. I have taken only 5 column names. And now guys, let's talk about the next topic of our class, which is how to insert value under this table. So to enter any values under the table guys, we need to use one more command, which name is insert, which is a part of this DML command, which stands for data manipulation language. So these commands are guys used to manipulate the data in the database. And here we can see we have insert, update, delete and merge. So these are the commands guys which comes here under this data manipulation language. So I will use same insert command to insert value under my table. So let's start our query with the next line. So we need to write first insert command, and after that guys I will write into. So this is the command guys we need to use to enter the values under the table. And after insert into guys, we need to define the table name. So my table name is organization. And now we have to start the bracket. And firstly we need to specify the column names here under these bracket. So my first column name in the organization table is employee ID. So I will write my column name. Let's say employee C guys. The moment I click initials, then you guys can see all the columns name which start from E. So I want to select the first column name which is employee ID and press tab key in my keyboard to select this employee ID column. Now put it comma. In a similar way guys, I will select all the columns name. So my second column name would be name, C guys. And the third would be email. The fourth one is age. And the fifth one is country, and the last one is salary. So these all are my column name, or you can say the fields. And now let's close this bracket. And don't forget to put comma after the column. If you guys want to write a same query in a single line, so of course you guys can do that. But I have already said guys, if you want to increase the readability of your query, so just press enter to jump into the next line. And now guys, here I will use one small function which name is values, because I want to enter values. And now I will start the bracket. So firstly guys, I need to enter the employee ID because this is my first column name. So let's say my employee ID would be 1000, comma, and my next column name is name. And under column name guys, I am taking one random name, let's say Kevin. And one thing guys you need to keep in mind while writing the value. So you need to code this value under single inverted comma, because here under this name column name guys, I have mentioned this column as a variable character with not null constraint. So we need to code the value under single inverted comma if you have variable character or character. And if we write an integer value guys, so we don't require any single inverted code. And the next column name is email. And here we can see the email data type is character. So either it is variable character or character. So whenever we write the value guys, so we have to start with single comma. So let's say I am taking any random email ID here, kevin@gmail.com, and inverted comma close, comma. And now let's write the third value, let's say age. So the third column name is age, and age is my obviously the integer. So I'll take let's say 29 without any quotation mark. And the next value we need to enter country. So again guys, country is a variable character. So I'll start single inverted comma and write the country name. Let's say USA, and inverted comma close, comma. And finally guys, the last column name is salary. So let's say salary would be 20,000 and close the bracket. So guys, I have completed my query and now let's execute. So select this query and click here on this execute button, or here you can see the shortcut key which is F5. So although you can click here on this execute button or click F5 in your keyboard. So this time guys, I'll click here on this execute button. So here we can see it's throwing me an error with this check constraint, because I have mentioned here under this check constraint the age value should not be less than 16. That means if I write any value is greater than 16, it will showing me an error and it will restrict me to execute this command. We guys can clearly see it here. So let me change the value of age. So instead of 29 guys, I'll take, let's say 15. And now I will execute this command because this value is less than 16 and hit execute. See guys, the one row is affected. And if you want to open this table, so again you need to use the same query, which is select star from organization. And now let's hit execute. So here we can see the values which we have inserted with the help of insert command. So in a similar way, you guys can add multiple entries. So you simply need to copy this query and paste it into the next line, just like this. And you can simply change the values from here. Let's say my next value would be 2000, name would be Jack, email ID would be jack@gmail.com, and age let's say 14, and the country would be again USA, and the salary would be let's say 30,000. And now let's again execute this command. See guys, one row affected. And if you again wants to open this organization table guys, just select this command and execute. See guys, now I can see both the entries together. So in this way, firstly you guys can create a structure of the table. After that, with the use of insert into command, you guys can add multiple entries. So let's suppose I want to enter one more entry here under this organization table. So let me copy this query and paste it here. And let's suppose I don't want to enter any value here under this salary column. So I'll remove this. So see guys, without entering any value here, so I'm not able to add the entry. So we have to write any value here. So let's say, let me change the values from here. So firstly I'll change the primary key, which is employee ID. And here I'll write some value here, let's say 16,000. And put it comma here. And let's say the name would be Andrea. And the ID would be andrea@gmail.com. And now let's execute. So see guys, one more row is affected. And now let me execute this query. So see guys, so that's why data type and constraint are more useful, so that you guys can enter correct data. And now let's talk about the next topic of our today's class, which is how to import Excel table in SQL. So we cannot write each and every value to create a table. So we have a better approach guys. We can add some data entries into the Excel and import that directly file into this SQL. So how we can do that in SQL? So firstly guys, let me open one Excel file and now quickly create some columns and rows. So my first column name would be let's say employee ID. And the next column name, let's say names. And I'm taking few more columns, let's say country, region, age, and finally is salary. And now I'm adding some entries, let's say 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000 and 5000. So here are my employee IDs. And now I am taking some random names, let's say Shubham, Kevin, Jack, Neha, Andrea. And here I am writing some countries, let's say India, USA, India, and finally is USA. And here I can write the regions, let's say South, North, and I am copy pasting the values. And here I am taking some random age, let's say 29. And here I am taking some random salaries. And now I am adding some borders with this table, just like this. So here is the Excel file guys, which I have created quickly. And now click here on this save button and select here on desktop. And let's say my file name would be details. And now let me close it. So firstly guys, you need to select the database where you want to import this Excel file. So let's suppose I want to import that Excel file in this Cricut database. So firstly I will go here in this Cricut database and do right click. And here you can see the option of tasks. And if you go here in the right side guys, so here you can see the option of import data. So you need to click here on this import data. And from here guys, you need to select this Microsoft Excel. And here it will ask the Excel file path. So if you click here on this browse button guys, so you can see all the files which you have in our system. So our file is details. So here is our file guys. So if I select and click open. And after that guys, you need to click here on this next button. So it will throwing an error. The Microsoft.ace.oledb.12.0 provider is not registered on the local. So I know guys, when you import the Excel file, it will throwing the same error in your machine. So how to overcome this error? So we have to follow few basic steps to remove this error. So firstly you need to click here on this OK. And click here on this cancel button. And you need to open the same Excel file which you have created. So here is the Excel file guys. And now click here on this file button. And here you can see the option of save as. So you simply need to click here on this drop down button guys. And you need to change the extension which is Excel 97 2003 workbook. And click here on this browse button. And after that guys, you again need to save the file in anywhere in your desktop. So I am saving this file on desktop. And the file name would be, let's say, details2. And click here on this save. And here you guys can see the same Excel file has saved with detail2 name with a different version of Excel. And now let's open SSMS. And again you need to follow the same step. Go to the Cricut database, do right click and go here in this tasks. And go here in this import data. And from here guys, you need to select Excel workbook. And select that file name which you have created in the different version. Which name is details2. So here is our file guys. Select that file and click here on this open. And now click here on this next button. And see guys, we cannot see any kind of error. And now click here on this drop down button. And you need to select the last option which name is SQL Server Native Client 11.0. If you have a different version of SQL guys in your machine, so you need to select that version too. But in my machine guys, we have SQL Server Native Client 11.0. So let me click this and click here on this next button. And again click here on this next button. So see guys, we have only one sheet under that Excel file. So it is already been selected guys. If it is not selected, you guys can click this check button. And click here on this next. And finally we need to again click here on this next. And finish. So see guys, our file is importing into SQL. It takes few seconds guys to import your file in SQL. And close this. And now you need to refresh your database. And if you expand this Cricut database guys and click here on this tables, so here you can see the table which you have imported. So this table name is sheet 1. So if you want to rename it guys, so just click this table and do right click. And here you can see the option of rename. So let's say my table name would be company. So I'll rename this as company. And let's suppose you want to open this table here under this SQL. So simply write the same query with select command. Select star from the table name is company. And now let's execute this command. So see guys, I can see the same values which we have entered in Excel file along with some null values. So because of blank data guys, it picked null values. So in this way, you guys can import any Excel table in this SQL. So I hope you are cleared with all the topics of SSMS. And in the next class guys, we will also learn more about the SQL. So stay connected with us to learn about SQL and Power BI related things. And don't forget to like, subscribe and share. And if you guys want to see the regular update, so you don't forget to press this bell icon guys, else you will miss an update. if someone wants to learn Power BI from scratch, so you guys can follow our free YouTube channel, which name is Power BI Full Course by Shubham. And under this 50 tutorials guys, I have explained each and every concept in detail from scratch. And if you click here on this playlist button guys, so you guys will get to see another playlist. And with the help of this DAX expression playlist guys, I have tried to cover each and every DAX function in detail. So you guys can take deep learning about DAX functions. And if you see it here guys, we have more playlists like visualization and updates. So I'm continuously uploading the new visuals and new updates about the Power BI. And with the help of this playlist guys, which name is Power BI with SQL, we are also learning the SQL from scratch. So you guys can also start your journey with this free YouTube channel, which name is Power BI Full Course by Shubham. And for the job seekers guys, we have this free Telegram group where I'm keep posting the latest Power BI jobs opening, as well as you will also find some latest interview question and answers. So you don't need to pay anything to anyone for jobs and trainings. But if you still think guys, you require paid training sessions, so we have this LinkedIn or Telegram channel and all the links are given here under the description box. You guys can follow me there. Thank you so much guys for your more love and support. Keep learning and keep growing. And please spread this channel in your network. Thank you so much.